All right, welcome into the
Oh,
first episode of 2024. We've rearranged the name, we've cleaned up some inconsistencies, and this is the Insurance, Life, and Everything in Between podcast. You're either listening to us right now, which we appreciate, or watching us right now, which is just as cool. Either way you look at it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share out this content. I've got some huge goals for the year, which include growing our audience, and we need you to help us do that. So comment, share, and help us grow this content. I got a first question for you, the audience, to comment below. Is this a Christmas decoration or a winter decoration? I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to take it down, but you can let me know if I should. Is this a Christmas decoration or a winter decoration? Adam, welcome into 2024. Appreciate you being here with me today as we talk about how to fail in 2024. How's that sound?
sounds good to me.
Outstanding. I think the Eagles have done an outstanding job of failing at the second half of the season. What do you think about that before we tackle some insurance crap?
Oh man, just watching the game yesterday. Well, the last 7 weeks, the Eagles were 10-1, and now they're 11-6. So their last 7 games they're 1-6, and they're going into the playoffs. Yeah, they were like the number one ranked team in the whole NFL for a good portion. Well, yeah, they were 10-1. And then they played the 49ers. The 49ers kicked their butt. And then after that, it was just a downhill battle. And I don't know. Players are hurt. I don't know what the heck is going on. I know that I feel like pretty much their whole season they've won games, but they've all been close. They haven't had like one blowout. Every single game, it comes down to like one score. It could have gone either way. They very well could have 5 wins this year. I mean, based off of just how their whole season has gone. So who knows? The playoffs are coming up. They get to play on Monday night, so it gives them a little bit of extra time to prepare and to heal up a little bit from some of their injuries. Playoffs are a whole different season, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of faith right now, but you just never know. Anything could happen.
Are the football playoffs really as different to the football season as the baseball playoffs, which is really more of a baseball tournament, is to the baseball season?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to compare the two. I do feel like it's like 2 different seasons, but you're just playing the game. I guess the main difference between the baseball playoffs and the football playoffs is that, it's do or die in football. If baseball, you might be down. It could be a 5-game series, and you might be down 2-1. Right there, you have to win that next game. But in football, it's just that one game. You lose and you're out. You win and you move forward. So I feel like in baseball, they really changed the way that they manage compared to like in football. It's just I feel like they do everything the same in football, but in baseball, it's the 3rd inning, and all of a sudden in the playoffs they're pulling their pitcher. And,
it's a very different managerial style because you're managing probably less starters, more on the relievers, more situational. Obviously, there's more games to win, 3, 5, or a 7-game series, but the strategy becomes significantly different. And that's why you see successful in-season teams be absolute garbage playoff teams like the Braves at situations, the Dodgers at times. They were built for 162 and fall on their face to their weaknesses in short game series. But in football, which we're getting into the football playoffs, you play 1 game during the week, 1 game in the playoffs. I don't feel like there'd be a lot of strategy difference.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I think the one thing that the big difference is there's a heck of a lot more injuries in football than baseball. So you might not have the same team by the beginning of the playoffs. They're playing 17 games now in the regular season. So by the end of the year, your team could look completely different than the team that you brought out there at the beginning of the year. Where baseball, I don't feel like there's going to be nearly as much turnover. Yeah, there's going to be some in-season trades and things like that, but your core is going to pretty much be the same. In football, heck, you lose your quarterback it's like your season could be over. It's a big difference, I think, between baseball and football. I think the individual uh, talent or the individualism of a quarterback is a little bit more important than even in baseball. You lose one pitcher. You know what I mean? You lose one pitcher, and that's one pitcher. So
Yeah, I wonder too, because in baseball, in the playoffs, sometimes the teams that really make great progress have individual players that really step into the limelight. The Bryce Harpers of the 2022, who really found his way into the playoffs and really showed what he could do in the playoffs, where team sports has a lot different mentality too. Adam, as we're talking about the playoffs, what do you think the easiest way for a football team is to blow the playoffs, as we soon segue into how to fail at 2024?
well, to do things completely different than they did the rest of the season, to change things up, and uh, like I said, I'm to me, it's kind of hard. I feel like they're going to do everything the same. I'm the only way they're going to fail really is if they differentiate from what has worked the rest of the season. So you change things up, and all of a sudden you manage differently. And like I said, I feel like I've seen that a lot more in baseball than football. And I could see in baseball, I've seen where it really affects the way that the results come out. Even the Cubs in the playoffs, it's like their manager would always say, "Oh yeah, we do everything the same from the beginning of the year through the playoffs." But you're watching the game, and that's not true. They're doing things totally different in the playoffs.
Mhm.
But like I said, football, I don't know. I just feel like a little bit different. I just feel like it's more based off of who you have available to play that could make a difference with the results and the outcome. You lose some key members of the team. Heck, even yesterday, the Eagles, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he got hurt like in the first quarter, messed his hand up. AJ Brown, their number one receiver, he hurt his knee. Devontae Smith, he messed up his ankle the week prior. Those are three key players that they wouldn't have nearly as many wins had it not been for just those three guys. Even their starting running back was out yesterday, sick. So it makes a big difference when you don't have that core there to be able to help get those same results as the rest of the season.
Well said. And on that note, what we're going to talk about on the insurance side of our conversation with insurance life and everything in between is the best way to fail at 2024. Before we get into that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow. More importantly, share this content out. We're looking to grow our audience significantly this year, and we need our audience's help in doing that. So like, comment, subscribe, and share out this important content to those around us. So Adam, I wrote down 6 amazing ways to fall flat on your face in 2024. I'm going to read them off. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. And hey, if you're watching and you know a good way to fail too, share that in the comment section below. So the first one I have is to switch business models multiple times in 2024. I was joking. The hot topic online is business to business sales, which is radically different than final expense, mortgage protection, Medicare. It's the same license, but it's radically different. So the first one, and the best way I think to fail, is to change what you're doing multiple times throughout the year. What do you think about that?
Most definitely, that could definitely cause big issues when it comes to production, making sales. You could really take that many different ways, I guess. Pretty wide open with what you said. I mean, that could be changing your presentation. That could mean changing organizations. Like you're working with one place, but you're not happy about one little thing, so you decide to jump ship, and then you jump ship again. I mean, you need some stability, I think, when it comes to the career and building and growing. So, I mean, it could be that, like I said, or even just in sales, you change things up. Sometimes you might not even realize you change things up, but just you change things up and they don't work. And that's going to make a big difference. I mean, heck, you change one little thing, could end up costing you a lot of money.
Yeah. I don't think people realize in the heat of frustration and of anger and lack of communication that making a change takes months to take place. You can get a new writing number next week and go write on a new IMO next month. But realistically, significant business changes like that, it's going to take months to work out all the kinks. A lot of patience, a lot of hurt feelings, and the effects on your money are going to show themselves pretty quickly. And to make significant business changes multiple times throughout the course of the year is a pretty easy way to have an unsuccessful year. The next one I have on the list, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, is a great way to fail in 2024 is to blame your upline for whatever it is and everything that it is. Blame them for what's taking place.
I think that's why people fail in pretty much any business, is that they don't want to hold themselves accountable for anything. It's always everybody else's fault. And yeah, in our business, a lot of times it comes back to, oh, my upline didn't train me well enough. The communication wasn't there. At the end of the day, I mean, heck, if people are jumping from one place to the next and they're always blaming their upline, it seems like there's only one thing in common, and that's the person that keeps jumping ship. If other people are successful within those organizations, I just think someone who wants to be successful is going to be successful anywhere that they go. I mean, maybe one place has better opportunities available than others. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, you could look at a situation where maybe the comp is low, they're getting free leads, whatever. They can still do well. They can still make pretty good money. Like I said, organizations may be a little bit different, but you got to hold yourself accountable. I kind of feel like all of the decisions that we make in life put us to where we're currently at in life. And you look back at different decisions that you make and you could say, yeah, maybe things would be different had I made better decisions. But I just think that self accountability is huge when it comes to any business. And I think that when you're working with agents too, I mean, heck, they want to see to it too that you're willing to hold yourself accountable too for certain things in certain situations.
Yeah, I think what's important to preface that with, because anytime I say something online, someone's watching that worked with us at one point, works with us now. I never ask someone to do something that I'm not willing to do or haven't done it before. I say to you, Adam, we had an agent, and this is all completely fictitious situation, that failed out and has left us leads in Milwaukee. We got a boatload of them, 200 of them in Milwaukee. And we can't sit on it. It's expensive. It's slowing down our cash flow. I need you to go up to Milwaukee. I'll pay for the hotel. You pay for the leads, and let's clean this up together. I've done it as the agent. I've been on the other end of that conversation, and I know what amazing growth it put into my business by being willing to do it. So that's why I think it's important that we say with our group, we don't ask people to do something that we haven't done or aren't willing to do as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a luxury to agents within our group, our organization. There's not many situations that an agent could run into that one of us haven't already run into at some point. So, I mean, that's where I think we have most of the answers, to be quite honest, when it comes to what it's going to take for someone to succeed. They run into certain situations in a home. We're going to know how to overcome a lot of those different situations. So, yeah, I think that's about it.
I got another one for you. We'll save that one for later. I'm going to put that at the bottom in case we need it. Next on the list is best way to fail in 2024 is to spend little, no, or inconsistent amount of money in marketing. I gave the example this morning of you're an Amazon delivery truck driver and you leave for your route with no packages on the truck. Like nothing's going to happen. You're going to drive around like a butt or an ass or a fool all day with nothing to deliver. Or even worse, you have a fully stocked truck and no gas to drive it. What are you even doing? When you think of it that way, it sounds absolutely ridiculous. So your thoughts on the best way to fail in 2024 being no inconsistent or lack of money spent on marketing?
Well, if you think about it, I mean, it's just insane for someone to order leads, make a bunch of sales, and then not want to rinse and repeat and do it all over again. And I've seen it many times. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. But at the end of the day, why would you want to do that? Why would you not want to be consistent? If it's working, you need to be consistent with it. And that's I could have had, honestly, I mean, I could have had a better year last year. I had a decent year. I could have had a better year had I been more consistent with placing the lead orders. So I think that really any business, it takes money to make money. I mean, like you mentioned, Amazon. Like, what if you, even if you own your own business, maybe you own a general store, corner shop, whatever. You need product to put on the shelves. Well, you have to buy that product to put on the shelves to be able to sell it. So if someone walks into your store and all your shelves are empty, you're not going to be able to sell anything.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at it the same way. I mean, our expense is in our business is leads, and we have to purchase leads in order to have those people to be able to go see, to be able to help them, to be able to sell insurance to. So without having a consistent flow of that on a regular basis, there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to your production for sure.
This business is based purely on consistencies, how long someone's going to live, how often they go to the doctor, how much, all that stuff is what the bedrock of insurance predictability is based on. If you're putting unpredictability, that's not even a word, is it? If you're creating instability into a predictable model, you're ruining the predictable results from it. Next on the list, as we look to talk about ways to ruin your year, is doing it on your own, believing you know everything and you don't need anybody's input, suggestions, accountability, structure, support, community engagement, doing the whole thing on your own.
I could see that being a way to fail for sure. I think that there's some people that can handle it. There's some people that can handle that independence, that have no problem with just kind of being out there on their own and kind of doing their own thing. But that's someone that has more than likely been in the business a long time, and they just kind of know the business and they know what they're doing, and they don't really need a whole lot of help or a whole lot of support. But for people that are new, people that, and not even new, I've seen people that they kind of go the route of uh, almost like being with captive companies, where they might even tell agents that they got to be at the office at a certain time, and they have to be there to make calls, and they're all, very micromanaged. And then they decide to leave and go out on their own because they see where you can make a lot more money, maybe being independent, but they can't handle that independence. They go from that structure of someone telling them you have to be here at a certain time and this is what you have to do on a regular basis to be successful, to I'm going to go out on my own and try it. And again, they can't handle that independence, and they stop doing all the stuff that worked from the people that were kind of teaching them and showing them how to do it the right way. So yeah, I think communication is very important, and we talk about that a lot with what we do with our podcast and several other avenues that we have to keep to keep agents engaged, and really just to try to stay in front of everybody so they know that we're here to help them and support them. And I think that's something that a lot of agents need. I think people could be in and out of the business sometimes too, if they don't have anybody to talk to, or they kind of feel like they're all out there on their own. They have a bad day, they don't have anybody to turn to for help, so then they're going to look for a new 9 to 5.
I think I remember talking to an agent once who thought that independent meant he was a hobbyist, an Uber driver, required no structure, accountability, nothing. He could just independent, like lone wolf with a backpack, walk in the country. Independent doesn't mean just freelancing. It actually means it requires more structure, more commitment, more accountability, more organization so that you can offer more carriers and better products to your clients. It doesn't just mean willy nilly, whatever happens, happens, because you'll happen your way right out of the business, I'd think.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, I've seen that where agents, they go out on their own. They don't feel like they really need any help. I've seen agents too that maybe it's an ego sort of thing, where they don't want anybody helping them. They know how to do it their way is better. They don't listen, and then they fail, and then they're wondering, well, why am I failing? Well, you weren't really willing to listen to anybody that was willing to help you.
I think one of the biggest ways to fail in 2024 is not to fail your way out of the industry and end up having to take a job, but to underperform your capacity. I think a lot of agents are better than they think they are. They're um, have greater growth potential, leadership aspects. They can do so much more than they think they're capable of, or they just do less than they could have. And maybe failure isn't quitting and leaving the business, but getting less out of it than you really could have done. What do you think about failure really being underperformance and not complete exit from the industry?
I could see that. And I think a lot of that could just come back to needing to have some sort of plan, some sort of structure when it comes to working leads, when it comes to how are you going to have your day structured, when it comes to having appointments, or when it comes to putting routes together and door knocking leads. And there's got to be some sort of structure there. Um, and you're right, though. I think a lot of times there are agents that maybe they think too little. Maybe they don't realize the opportunity. Maybe they're happy making $80,000 a year, and they work to that level where if they really put their mind to it, they could put it in the same amount of time and probably end up doubling their income just by maybe having a little bit more structure to their day, to their week. So yeah, I think it makes a big difference to just kind of have that structure for sure. And like I said, know what your day is going to look like, know what your week's going to look like. Even when I'm in the office, I mean, my days, Mondays and Fridays are my office days. I have it all drawn out though. Like I know which hour I'm doing this and that, and all on my calendar. Uh, so I think even if you're in the office doing stuff, I think that a lot of times you end up, at least in our position with working with agents, if we don't have that structure, we end up sitting around just replying to emails all day. And so I think that
You could
you
do
need
that
to
all
devote,
day.
yeah, you need to devote a certain amount of time to one task and then a certain amount of time to another task. If you have to write it down on your calendar, then write it down on your calendar. And that's what I do. I just kind of break it up. Maybe 1 hour for this, 1 hour for that, all the way through my day on Monday and Friday. But like I said, agents could do the same thing if they're setting up appointments. Well, structure your day out to when you're going to be doing that and when you're going to be out in the field and so on and so forth.
I think that people also need to stick to what they wrote down. It's easy to write a bunch of cool things down, but then do them. Don't write down something you're not going to do. Hold yourself to a higher standard than that, because really all that you're doing is cheating yourself. Like you not sticking to your schedule didn't hurt me, didn't hurt Adam, it didn't hurt. It might have hurt your family, but like don't just write it down and not do it. That's ridiculous. I was joking with Jamie this morning. She was on her way to school and she's like, what time do you have your shower scheduled for today? Like, I wasn't even kidding, but she was joking. I'm like, 8:05. That's exactly the time on Monday. I planned it. It's literally that structured to the point where if I'm going to get anything done on a Monday where I'm here, I got to write it down and then actually stick to it. And then she pushes the joke a little bit further. Well, how long did you have it scheduled for? I'm like, 25 minutes. It's Monday. It sounds ridiculous to say it, but it's the truth. And the more structure you provide to your business, the more freedom it provides you afterwards. There wasn't a whole lot structured about this weekend. There wasn't a whole lot that had to be done because of the structure the rest of the week provided. So I think that's an important takeaway. Maybe not schedule your shower for the day, but schedule what's important so that important stuff gets done. Adam, before we go and record part 2, any closing thoughts for the day?
Well, and I was just going to say too, we talk so much about goals, and I think it's good to have those goals. I think it's good to have a weekly goal of what you want to do. I know you mentioned on our training that you have a dollar amount in mind every week of what you need to write to make sure that you make enough money for everything that you need to accomplish. So I think it's good. You know what? You hit that goal, reward yourself. You can reward yourself by, maybe you're a new agent and you want to put in as much time as you can and you want to work Monday through Saturday. Well, maybe you hit your goal by Friday. Well, award yourself, take off Saturday, enjoy some time with your friends and family. And, that's this past Saturday. That's what I did. I took my family. I sent you a picture, went out to Wrigley Field to that winter wonderland thing. It was awesome. My kids loved it. And heck, I had a good week, not, reward myself and enjoy some time with the family. So, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing this for, right?
Mhm.
Ourselves and, everybody else around us. So let's have some fun with it. But at the end of the day, yeah, reward yourself. You have a good week. Take
I
some
used to
time off and enjoy it.
I used to practice that quite diligently when it was just me, myself, and I, production wise, no team or responsibilities to demonstrate to others. Is I would start on a Monday, end of the morning call, exiting my car, knocking a door like that quickly, because I knew the moment that I hit my weekly goal, I could be done. I'd still be engaged in the community, still be engaged in the calls, still be engaged in helping others. But the moment I had written that $417 of premium, I was done. And how much of a motivating factor is that, thinking to yourself, dang, if I can knock that out Wednesday, I've got Thursday off, I got Friday off. Man, I didn't get it. Let's get out there and get it done Thursday afternoon. Or maybe it goes into Friday, but how successful and satisfying is that weekend knowing you worked that hard to have hit that goal? So maybe that's a method someone practices as well. You can reward yourself with time off the moment you've succeeded at your goal. And of course, having that your money is under control as well.
Well, and then just by having those goals, it gives you something to work towards. But then I feel better at the end of the day or end of the week, knowing that I did everything I could to hit that goal. Uh, and if I didn't hit that goal, at least I know that I put in as much effort as possible to hit that goal. And there's some weeks we fall short. We got to make up for it the following week. But by having that goal, at least like I'd said, I kind of feel like it just kind of helps me to move forward with my day, with my week, and it helps me to be successful, just to kind of have something to work towards every week.
Well said. We're going to go film a part 2 that you'll catch a week later, where we talk a little bit more potentially about how to fail in 2024 and ways that you can avoid doing that as well. Adam, appreciate you being on and excited to see what we can do this year.